Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time we're going to be doing Australia, and we're doing the solo version. I just have the base game, we do not have the expansion, so it's going to be a plain old solo version. I've got everything on the board set up. So we have resources in the game. We've got some iron, we've got some coal, we've got some gold, and we've got some phosphate, which are worth points at the end of the game. And of course we have different levels of old ones out here who will be activating and trying to destroy the world, or Australia in this case. We're going to get into the gameplay. There's been a bunch of how-to plays and everything going on. Basically, there's a turn tracker at the very begin, the top of the board. You can just see it here. I should probably just go up a little bit. So we get to do actions, and all the actions we take in the game cost time. And so we have to build up our forces, get some farms going, get some resources, do a bunch of stuff before the old ones start waking up. And the old ones start here at 22. So we've got a bit of time to build up. So how does that work? Well, let's take a look at our player mat. I'll kind of explain the actions. And unfortunately, my player mat, I believe, is in Spanish. Why? Everything else in my game is English, but we'll take a quick look at that. Alright, so taking a look at our mat here, we're going to be playing solo. I'm doing the easy version. On the easy version, you start with 8 victory points to start with. It's going to be victory points at the end of the game. It's going to be us versus the old ones. So we have to, of course, get more victory points than the old ones. Let's see how that works. Now, we do have a special card. There's 10 cards in the game. They're for the solo game, and I just randomly grabbed one. So this could be bonus victory points at the end. And the game with no old ones within 3 hexes of your port. Okay, we're going to see where our port is here in a second. You probably saw it, the opening. All right, we have cubes. There's a bunch of actions we can take. We can lay railroad tracks on plain or on outback and on port spaces, and it costs us more time, 3 time, to lay it in mountains or hills. And then we have 2 actions here. So all these little copper coin symbols here is the amount of time it takes to do this. We can recruit help as well. And if you want to play, say, recruit help, and you want to play it again, you have to pay 1 gold to play it for every cube that's already in there. And we can recruit units, we can build farms, we can do import-export, which means we can sell coal for gold and steel or iron for gold, or we can get an iron or a coal, what have you. We can do an attack. And the X here, you can see it costs us 1 time to bring in infantry, 1 time for armored car, 1 time for artillery. It doesn't cost us any time for armored trains or dirigible zeppelins to come in, airships for the battle. But you have to always spend 1 time no matter what you do. So you can't just send an airship somewhere for 0 time. Everything costs time. And when you fight, you're going to be fighting old ones out on the board. You have 3 sanity tokens. You'll see how that works. Basically, and then we can build cow farms, corn farms, sheep farms, and we're going to be laying railroad track. So if we take the railroad track action, it costs us an iron and a coal, and we can lay 2 tracks. Lots to get into, but you'll see how it plays here pretty quickly when we begin. And now we're going to take a look at the 5 random characters that have come out and that we can recruit. Alright, I hope this is focusing pretty good. This guy here, Luigi, remove 1 damage cube from one of your units. So, and that is once per combat. Donald McDonald, take 2 iron, 2 coal, and 2 gold from the supply, a 1-time deal. This is Bradshaw, +1 victory point for every 3 rail tracks you have on the board. And we have Timothy Brazzi, build 2 rail without expending time. You must still expend coal and iron, and that's a 1-shot. And Zhu Jiang, your airships take 3 damage before they're eliminated instead of the regular 2. Alright, with all of that said, I guess we are just going to, I'm going to back camera out, we're going to take a look at, again, a little bit more detail of the actions we could take, and then I guess we're just going to get into the game and you'll see how it plays. Alright, so I back the camera out here. We do have a Cthulhu deck, and this is all, of course, shuffled. This is going to be determining lots of things. A multi-use deck. We'll see that in action. We also have revelation cards. We have there's 10 1s, 10 2s, and 10 3s in the game. randomly shuffle. So we've got 5 1s, 5 2s, 5 3s, and they go 1 on top, 2 and 3. And those will be happening when the Cthulhu player hits these light spaces. They're every 2 on the board. But we won't worry about the Cthulhu player right now, the Old Ones player, because we're not going to get there probably in the first episode. We're going to be spending time and doing things. And I did promise to show you this one sheet very quickly here. This is in English, yay. So this tells you basically, if you want to pause on that, all the actions I kind of looked at the board there, what you can do and how they actually work. And then this is effectiveness of units. So in the game we have Cthulhu himself, we have Shoggoths, Migos, Zombies, Loyalists, and Temples. And this kind of tells you infantry, whether they're poor or good against which units. So you kind of know what you're going to do when you want to try and attack some of the old ones. And then, of course, at the end of the game, your score versus the old one score, and you want to try and get more points than they have. Okay, without further ado, I guess let's just get into taking some turns, and you'll see how the game works. Oh, and I will mention quickly, this setup for the board is done completely randomly. There's these little triangle sort of spawn locations, and there's a whole bunch of chits in the game, and they basically tell you where all the resources are. So you put these random chits down, you flip them over, and they tell you how to populate everything. And this is what I ended up with for my solo game. And you can put your port in any of the coastal spots that have a port location, and you can only ever have one thing on a space. So you can only have one farm. You can't build a farm here, and you can see corn symbols here. You can build corn farms here, cattle farms and the cattle symbols, and sheep farms here. Alright, let's go over to our player mat, and we're going to start taking some actions, and like I said, you'll see how the game operates while we do that. Alright, I think the first action we're going to take is we're going to build some rail tracks, and there's 2 different ones. So this lets you build in hills, this lets you build in the outback and port locations. So we're going to start here. It's going to cost us 2 time. We're going to get to be able to place down 2 of our railroad tracks. So let's get to the board and do that. Ah yes, the all-important time tracker, 1, 2. It takes us 2 time to build our 2 tracks, but let's lay our tracks down and see where we want to put them. Alright, we can lay our track on anything except the green hill spaces. So we're going to start from our port, and we're going to build out this way, and then we're going to build up north. And that was our first opening action. Very exciting. Alright, let's go back to our board and continue. Alright, I think we're going to go ahead for 1 time, and we're going to recruit some help. And I think we're going to go ahead and recruit McDonald here. And we're just going to go ahead and just play him right now. Take 2 iron, 2 coal, and 2 gold from the supply. Now that's going to really pump up our stuff. So 2 gold, 2 iron, and 2 coal from the supply. So now we've got a ton of stuff, and he'll just get discarded. And he will get replaced. And yes, we can't forget to go and spend our time. The next guy to come out is Agent Davies. Reveal 2 old one tiles of your choice. Take 2 victory points. Ooh, and that's important. And I'll get to the scoring here just in a second, but we have to go spend a time for recruiting that character. Alright, we have to spend 1 time, and I just totally forgot now, to build railroad tracks you have to spend an iron and a coal, which I didn't do, so I'm just doing that now, as we got a bunch of extra stuff from McDonald. Okay, we're a long ways from Cthulhu activating yet, or the old ones to activate, so let's go back to our player mat and take some more actions. Alright, we got a whole bunch of iron and coal, so we're going to spend an iron and a coal. And we're once again going to build some more track right here. This time we can build 2 on anything, hills, outback, or port locations. Again, that's going to cost us 3 time to do that, but let's go to the board and get placing our track and spending our time. You think you have a lot of time in this game? You do not. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should mention, we're going to back the camera out here. I'm going to put the 2 tiles down, and we're going to explain a little bit more about what's going on. Alright, I'm going to build a track to here so we can get to these resources. I'm also going to build a track this way because we want to get up to where the Cthulhu mythos monsters are and start maybe trying to attack them, seeing what they are. We don't want to do that too early in the game because they will activate on their own and they will start doing really nasty things. When we back the camera out, I'm going to explain a little bit more, then we're going to take some more actions. Alright, so down here at the bottom of the board you'll see there's like a time marker. This is the time marker track. And when we get to 53 and or Cthulhu gets to 53, when we both get here or past 53, the game immediately ends and we score. How does scoring work? Every exposed Cthulhu monster has victory points on it. If they're not defeated, they will score that, and anything that is still flipped over gets flipped over, and they get double points for that. And any farms that we build that they actually destroyed and blighted, they get a point for that as well. We get 2 victory points for building farms, and we get victory points for phosphorus. So we're 3, and you pick up a gold while you get it as well. And then, of course, when we defeat monsters, we get their victory points. So that's kind of how the scoring is going to work, and you'll see that, of course, in much later episodes. Let's continue on taking some more actions. I should also mention it does take 1 time. If you use this, then you can clear all the cubes off your board. Because, again, if we want to recruit another character right now, we can do it, but we're going to have to pay 1 gold because there's already 1 cube there. So that's kind of how this works. But I think what we're going to do now, we've got a bunch of gold. We are going to go ahead and get a military unit. So boom, there's what we can purchase. Now we can spend 2 gold and get 2 infantry, or we can spend 3 gold, get an armored car, 5 for a artillery piece, 4 for the dirigible, or 4 for the armored train. And you'll see once we get these tokens here, what the range they have. And I'll explain that as well. So we're going to go ahead and spend 2 gold right now, and we're going to go ahead and get 2 infantry. So I'm going to grab those, and we're going to have a look at them. So 2 infantry tokens, and there's going to be our fighting units. Of course, we're going to need fighting units because when the old ones awaken, they're going to be nasty. So they have 2 hit points each, and you get 2 of them. And they have a distance of 1, and they're going to go in our barracks. Now, what does the distance 1 mean? And of course, we have to spend a time for that. I'll go show you that on the board. And I swear I'm going to miss moving this time tracker sometime. So there we go. So far, we've spent 5, 6, 7. Yes, we're at 7 time. It's all good. So how does movement work for our units? Well, as I said, the infantry has a 1 here. They can go 1 away from our rail track. The rail track is the heart of our little port and our sprawling out. So we can go here, any hex that's adjacent to any of our rails. So the infantry could actually attack this if they wanted to. And we might want to do an attack just to kind of clear that out, but we'll see. All right, back to our player mat. We're going to take some more actions. And am I good at this game? No. So we're going to take, and we've got 2 here, mining actions. So we're going to take, for 1 time, we're going to go do some mining. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, once again, we advance the time, and you can see how quickly we're going to catch up to the Cthulhu Mythos marker. We're going to go ahead, we are connected here, rail line, to the phosphorus. This is worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. So we're grabbing that, and when we do that, we also get 1 gold that goes into our supply. Oh dear. All right. What else do we want to do? Let's go back to our play area and figure some more things out. All right. I think we're going to attack. We're going to do 1 attack, show you how that works. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to attack. And like I said, my board is, I believe that's Spanish. I think. Maybe it's not. So that's going to cost us X amount of time. Well, if you see here, the infantry costs 1. And it doesn't matter how many units of the same type you bring to the battle, you're just going to be spending the 1 time. So for this particular battle, we're just going to be spending 1 time, and we're going to be flipping over that tile, and we can immediately run away if it's something really horrific, or we can battle it. I'll show you how the battles work. It's actually a really cool system. All right, we're spending 1 time to initiate this little skirmish, and yeah, we're catching up pretty quick. All right, down to the board, and we're going to be flipping that tile over, possibly having a battle. All right, so we're taking our 2 units that have a distance of 1. We're 1 away from one of our rail lines, and so with that, we're going to flip this over, and it is, oh my goodness, it is a temple. And temples can be bad. They can be very bad because they can spawn some really nasty stuff. We are going to go ahead, though, and we're going to have a little bit of a battle. We have 2 infantry units. So I'll show you how the battles work. So we already initiated a battle. Now, we could right now just run away and not do anything. We're not going to do that. We're going to fight them. How does fighting work? Well, we take out the deck of Cthulhu cards, and we're just going to start flipping them over, and you'll see very quickly how this works. So the first round of battle is going to be here, and we are fighting a temple. And so our infantry, anything on this side, we look at the symbol, so we do have infantry. That's going to do 1 damage to the temple, but it does a purple damage. We are also going to take 1 damage. And so that's our first card, which of course you can't quite see. Move them down a little bit. So we take a damage, the infantry takes a damage, and the temple takes a damage. So we take 1 damage, and the temple takes a damage. Now it has a health of 6. Now we could stop the battle here and retreat, and if we do that, we heal all of our wounds. But let's press on for 1 more attack anyway. We might lose that infantry unit. That's hard to say. Alright, we're going to flip over to the next card, and okay, if we had dirigible attacking the temple, it would do 2 damage, but it's doing nothing back to us. Pressing our luck. It's kind of a press your luck thing. You know, we're going to attack it 1 more time. Oh man, so if we had artillery, we would do 2 damage to the temple, but it does 1 damage back to us, and that is actually enough to destroy one of our infantry units. Darn it! Okay, well, it is what it is. Cost us a couple of gold for them. We've just lost 1 of them. But we're going to go ahead and press on. We're going to do 1 more, and it's a whiff. No damage to the temple. No damage to us. Yeah, we're going to go 1 more time, and we take 1 damage. All right, that's enough. That's enough. We take 1 damage on us, and now we are backing off. We're retreating, because I don't want to lose both my infantry units. Well, the damage is going to stay on the temple, and that's where it's going to remain the rest of the game until we go back there and blow it up. And our infantry will go back to our barracks, fully healed from that little fight. Oh man, alright, back to player board, and we're probably going to take a couple of more actions. Oh dear. Alright, we are going to take this action here, which costs us a time, but we get to return all of our cubes back into our box. Oh dear, I feel like I don't know if I'm doing well. I think we're just kind of running out of time. There we go, right back, and we're going to do some more actions. Okay, I think we are going to go ahead and recruit for 1 time another player, and we're going to go ahead and recruit this guy right here, Timothy Brassey. Build 2 rail without expending time. You must still expend coal and iron. So that's pretty good. So for 1 time, so we're gonna spend an iron and a coal. We're going to use him right now, and we're going to build 2 rails basically anywhere we like without spending any time. But when we had to spend 1 time to recruit them, all these guys, of course, are going to shuffle down. And we're going to get somebody new coming out. And that will be a farmer. Place 2 farms of your choice. You still earn 1 gold per farm. Ooh, that's actually pretty good too. Another one-shot deal. All right, let's go place our rails and spend our 1 time for using Timothy Brassey. Yep, our token is getting rapidly closer to the Mythos Old One's token. And when it starts activating, yeah, that's not going to be too fun. Alright, we get to place 2 rail tracks down, though, anywhere we like. Alright, this may be crazy, but we can build now on anything. So we're going to go ahead and build a rail up to here so we can actually look at these guys if we want. Possibly attack them. Yeah. And the other rail I think we're going to put here to the coal so that we could do a mine action and just take all of that coal. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it off there for today. I've given you kind of an introduction to how things are working. We're going to back the camera up and we're going to wrap up. Alright, so that's the opening of my solo playthrough of Australia, and we've got a port here, we've got a whole bunch of rails out there, we got this temple here that I do not like. We don't want it spawning stuff. That would be very bad. We can grab the coal next time, we can maybe buy some more military units, get some more help. Time is running out though, as you can see, our little yellow, we've used 11 time on our way to 22. And once we leapfrog this, it will start activating it. Like I said, every time the Mythos token hits one of these lighter spots, we're going to be pulling one of the Revelation cards. And those, of course, are not good. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes. This is Auztralia. We're doing the solo version. This is the base game. And we're going to see if we can come out on top with more victory points than the old ones. We'll see. So thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow for the continuation.